Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real.
Step 1, wake up early.
Guys, give me just a second. Apparently, I'm having some more technical issues. So, actually, I might as well just go ahead and start. Screw the intro. Everybody will get here in due time. I am certain of that. It's just I was trying to set up a video, and I did this once before where I said, could you guys still hear it playing after the fact? Because it kicked it for my ears, and I couldn't tell if it was running or not. So it is what it is. But good evening. It is Friday. Dun, dun, dun. We have survived. We have survived. So when it kicked it for me, it kicked it for you guys too. That sucked. I don't know what happens. It's still showing it's playing on my end. It's just we can't hear it. We can't hear it at all. So yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So it's nice to see you all here. So I've been doing a lot of research. This whole Bartstown murder is just it's driving me nuts. Like I'm going crazy here. And I'm thinking, you know, I keep trying to fit this Jason Ellis into the Crystal Rogers case and the Tommy Ballard case. And I've tried every which way. Like I'm looking out. I mean, I'm going into rabbit holes here, folks. I'm going into rabbit holes. I'm not seeing the connection. It's driving me nuts. I cannot see it. We can allege it's drugs. It's this, it's that. But there's nothing concrete. There's only rumors and speculation. And so I'm just like, wow. So I'm digging. Oh, before we go into the digs, before we start talking about the digs, hold on. We're going to get into this interview, okay? I think this interview holds our key, by the way. I think it holds our key. But I want to show you guys. What I'm doing. Let me go say hi because while we have just a little bit of people in here, I'll say hi to the people when they come in. Beat Betty, it's nice to see you here. Sonia, it's nice to see you as well. It's me, Jen. Skittles, it's nice to see you. Susan, good evening. Oh, Rusty up in the house. Rink. Who else do we have? Yeah, and the only rule of the chat, don't be since Sonia's in here, we're gonna save her poor little ears and say don't be a Richard. Because we just want to let Sonia know we love her. We love her. So I want to show you this. This I've been working on. This I want you guys to check out your opinions, but there's not that. I'll have to show it again here in a little bit because I want to have a few more people in the chat to give me their honest opinion. So here we go. I've been working on this. It's 7 seconds long. There you go. Right? What's that? I got it. So I'm thinking that's going to be like my intro or the outro. I'm not quite sure which yet, but anyways, I figured I'd share that with you guys. I've been working the things that I have to do. But we needed something different. You know, I've got a longer intro going in, and I figured maybe something that just is a tag going out because I'm doing all these videos. And so I just need something very simple, very just, you know, to the point where it has our stuff. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. It took me a long time to get the effects together, to get the, it just, you don't want to know how long it took me to, to put that 7-second video together. I think it was about as long as it took me to put a 5-minute video together. Good Lord. It took me all day just to get that. Let's watch that again. And it sucks because my internet kind of sucks on here. So I know that it kind of yanks. I mean, right now we're doing good, but I can always tell, you know, that it kind of yanks. So it's not like you're getting the full effect here. You're not getting the full effect. Let me go back here. Try it again. Let's see. And maybe it won't hiccup this time. Maybe it won't hiccup this time. It's I like it. I like it. I may take the little frillies out of there. I think that's probably unnecessary. So I might modify it just a little bit more. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. So about, sorry, the D word. There's the second for the grift jar. Yeah, our grift jar. Our e-beg jar. Lord have mercy. People are so petty. You'd think they have better things to do, but I digress. We're not gonna let it drift us. We're not gonna let it take us off what we're going to be doing here, right? What we're going to be doing. So many of you know that we started kind of following this case of Crystal Rogers a few months ago. And at that point in time, it was, I don't know. It was, basically your run of the mill, and I say it, you know, it's sad that we say it this way, but it's like your normal run of the mill domestic type of cases. You know, it appeared on its face that this is that Crystal Rogers, there was some conflict between Crystal and Brooks, and they had a kid together. You know, it appears if you look at the relationship and the age of the kid that, you know, they got pregnant fairly quickly after their relationship started. And, you know, it seemed like it must have been fairly hostile. And I would have to think, you know, I mean, guys just don't kill girlfriends that don't have volatile and hostile situations going on in their life. It just, statistically is very, very low. But in this case, there was a lot of moving parts. Everybody kind of knew Brooks was responsible. But again, I don't think they realized that there was more to this, you know? And whenever we talk about this case, it is kind of like the Alec Murdaugh, right? And the Stephen Smith aspect of the Alec Murdaugh case. It's like, you know, is it connected? It seems like they're not connected together, but they just kind of hang out there. And so this whole thing with Jason Ellis, because even and I'll just go ahead and give you the rundown. Where's my video? Is this my video? This is the newest video. Let's just watch this and get updated on the case. It's a lot easier for me to give you the Reader's Digest version when it's already done.
In the Crystal Rogers case, two of Kentucky's highest courts released big decisions today, both ruling against Brooks Houck. Houck is charged with murder in connection to the 2015 disappearance of Crystal Rogers. He was arrested in September and has been in jail on a $10 million bond since then.
Crystal Rogers is a mother of 5 beautiful kids that went missing on the July 4th weekend in 2015. Her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, came under heavy scrutiny about her disappearance back in 2015. Brooks Houck was later arrested after Joseph Lawson, and the case kind of died out. There was some major shocks in the case when the state prosecutor, Brooke Houck's hearing, tells the judge that his brother, Nick, might have been the one that shot Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard. If you're unfamiliar with this case, Crystal is a beautiful young lady that disappeared in 2015, and her father went out looking for her and searching. Well, during a hunting, what many thought was a hunting accident, he was shot to death. And apparently during this hearing for Brooks Houck, it was alleged that his brother Nick may have killed Crystal's father.
Waiting for testing to come back on the firearm we believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard, firearm that we purchased from Nicholas Houck, who was using a fake name
This case has a lot of twists and turns, and that's not it. In 2013, an officer was ambushed. His name is Jason Ellis. And people are starting to feel that this Jason Ellis is connected to this particular case with Crystal Rogers and Brooks Houck. So now we have 3 people arrested in connection with the death of Crystal Rogers, although her body has not yet been found.
The Chief Justice ruling today, Nelson County Judge Charles Sims will be staying on the case, writing, quote, the defendant failed to demonstrate any disqualifying circumstance that would require the appointment of a special judge. Houck will stay in jail on a $10 million bond until his trial. His next court date is set for February of next year.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's kind of the Reader's Digest version of everything that's going on. And, you know, like I said, it's been really hard because, you know, you're looking at this Jason Ellis case and it's really hard to make it fit. I've got to be honest with you. It's difficult. I'm trying to find the links. I'm trying to find the connection between people associated with crime in the community in linking back to, you know, Brooks, his brother, or, you know, an associate of his. And it's really not, there's nothing really there. I can't find anything. So I've expanded my search to larger communities in and around the Bartstown area just to see, because, you know, just from my experience in this, you know, in the underbelly of society, I know that, you know, some people typically live away from where they conduct their illegal business and stuff. So I thought, well, maybe, you know, he's in construction, he can travel, he wouldn't be noticed so much if he's traveling around, especially everybody knows him, he's in the construction field. They would expect him to be on the roads, you know, traveling here, traveling there, and traveling everywhere. So I'm trying to find this connection, and I'm really struggling. Like I've went through, I want to say at least 20 different stories today, 20 different crimes that span across Kentucky. You know, I was looking into all the cases, not just Jason Ellis. I'm looking into the Netherlands case to see how that fits in, and that one's just the reason why that one doesn't fit. We're gonna get into that case as well, because we might as well. I mean, we're in Bartstown, right? So we're talking about Jason Ellis, we're talking about Crystal Rogers and Tommy Ballard. Listen to this. This is something even more crazy. Even more crazy. Do you know the Ballards? The Tommy Ballard, the father that was killed in 2016. His sister disappeared. His sister was murdered. I did not know that. His 19-and-a-half-year-old sister was murdered. She was 7.5 months pregnant. And she disappeared. She went into town one day and never came back. And their father and uncle went looking for her. And I don't remember exactly how many years later it was. Hold on here. I can probably tell you. I took some copious notes here. She disappeared on January 29th, 1979. And her name, believe it or not, listen to this, it's a little ironic, was Sherry Ballard Barnes. Obviously, Sherry Ballard is the mother of Crystal. So it's just kind of ironic. And what I learned, Mike Ballard, which is the brother of Tommy Ballard, is the one that gave this interview to Oxygen. And Crystal's aunt, it's Shireen. It's Sharene. And she goes by Sherry Ballard Barnes. And I just thought it was kind of ironic that she goes by Sherry. She disappeared. She was 19-and-a-half years old. She disappeared January 29th, 1979. It was a cold case. When she went, it went cold. But she went into town, and then she disappeared without a trace, vehicle and all. They got the police involved right away. They thought it was her estranged husband, had something to do with her disappearance. Sherry was a senior at high school at the time. She was 7 months pregnant, and the ex did not want to pay child support. They found Sherry's purse over in Indiana. Then Ellie walked a little further and saw the back end of the car sticking out of water. There was no body inside. And Mike Ballard noted how ironically similar this case is to his niece's case, Crystal, and said that it was almost like a copycat. In 1982, 3 years later, is when Sherry was found. So she was, and this is some details that I thought were very interesting in her aunt's case. Her aunt was moved three separate times, and ultimately burned. Her Sherry's husband was Eddie Barnes, and his buddy partner, which was George Ware, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, were convicted of her murder. They both got life in prison over it. I just thought that was a little interesting, that Sherry Ballard, there's another Sherry Ballard out there, and she was missing and was ultimately murdered. So in the immediate Ballard family, you have two Ballards, brother and a sister, that both were murdered. And the brother's niece or daughter was, so, I mean, who would think that would happen? And the reason why we bring this up is how ironic it is, but it does kind of dovetail right into the Summer Wells case a little bit, because we have two people missing in that family without a trace. We have Aunt Rose and Summer gone, almost 10 years apart to the day, if I'm not mistaken. It was somebody else. But this was the, as I was going through this whole entire, research campaign into tearing this whole thing apart with Jason Ellis and everything else, I come across this interview, and this is with the retired chief. He was the chief at the time that Jason Ellis was murdered. And I thought that this interview that Shay did, and this was done 6 months ago. This interview was done 6 months ago. I know he was already retired at the time that they did this interview. But he has some pretty interesting detail. Oh, Boucher, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're over on the new channel. Why they try to take my other channel. They're not taking my other channel, by the way. And we were able to be fully monetized in less than a week. So very, very on this channel, very happy about that. But I'm not doing the memberships over here. We're going to keep the memberships over there. I plan on going back, but we'll see. So far, this channel's been performing pretty well. So we'll see how everything goes while we build this channel. So without further ado, I really want to kind of get into this interview, because I think it holds a lot of great information and a lot of stuff that we have not seen previously. So I'm just going to turn this over. We're going to watch it. I'm going to stop it. We're going to chat about it. Actually, maybe I'll do that one. Yeah, so you guys can see me. Actually, I'll put myself little so you guys get a bigger, wider screen. There we go. Okay.
I can.
Back to the very, very, very beginning.
Can you believe it's been 10 years?
I can. Some people, we were at Police Week last week talking about it, and you have those that it seemed like yesterday, and then you have those that it seems like it was forever. And obviously it depends on where you are, meaning were you close, intimate family, or were you coworkers and friends? And but yeah, 10 years ago, it does not seem that long, believe me, to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. In some ways, it does seem like some of those emotions, some of the things you saw. I mean, can you take us back to the scene, kind of arriving there? You hear the term the politicians use it. What will you do when you get that 3 a.m. phone call? Well, I got that 3 a.m. phone call. And, I remember when the phone rang at that time.
I just want to give just a tad bit of context here with this gentleman. I want you guys to understand, this is the chief of police that oversaw Jason Ellis. And this is a very small, you got to remember, they only have 13,000 residents in this community. That police force is fairly small. Okay. Everybody knows everybody. This chief had a very close-knit community, a relationship probably with every single officer he has. You can see in his face and in his body language that this case here, that he knew Jason, and that this case really does bother him. And I just wanted to give a little context to that because, in my the department here, we have a huge outfit of Manatee County sheriffs. We have multiple satellite offices. We have a huge police force here in Manatee County. Not huge, not like Chicago or a main city, but for the size that we have a really large police presence here in Manatee County. So, it wouldn't be uncommon for a chief or a lieutenant not to know other patrolmen and stuff like that. This man here is the chief and probably knew every single one of his deputies by name and personally. So this is personal for this chief.
Yeah, this can't be good. But then when I looked over to the phone, it said Nelson County Dispatch, and I knew it was not good. Because if it was an incident or a situation, the night chief on my department would be the one calling, not dispatch. So I knew. And then I just remember him saying, "We've got a bad situation, chief." Of course, by that time, I'm already up trying to throw on clothes, uniform, whatever I wore, and talk at the same time. And he just said, we're not sure what happened. He's down. I said, okay, who? And of course, he said it was Ellis. And because of those tree branches, it was very confusing to everybody, because I think he even told me, we don't know if a tree fell on him, which I thought.
So these are all the behind the scenes conversations, okay, that we didn't know about. This was like, he's talking about what was actually going on in those very seconds and moments as they're all approaching the scene and finding out it's Jason. These are the thoughts that are going through, they're thinking that a tree fell on him and stuff like that. So just keep listening.
What in the hell was he doing on a, but there's 3 o'clock in the morning, the cobwebs, and but I just remember him saying it's not good. He did not tell me he had been killed, and that's not his place. I don't blame dispatch at all, but doing this long enough and those spidey senses, as we call it, I knew it was not good. And then I lived right in town in Bardstown, and I jumped in my car. I'm headed out to the bluegrass, and my phone rang, and it was one of the officers who was on the scene. Happened to be one of Jason's good friends, and he's crying when I answered, and he's like, they killed him. He's gone, chief. He's gone. And I said, I'm on the way. Not knowing what I was going to do, but I was, And then when I got to the scene, I remember it was eerily silent, and it was a full moon that night. So for 3 o'clock in the morning, it was just lit up. Natural, but of course the lights, the police lights and stuff. But I just remember it being eerily silent, and walked up to the yellow tape, and the officers were just standing quiet. There were like 4 paramedics on the scene, and they were just kind of standing. I don't want to say in formation, but they were just standing, shoulder to shoulder, just kind of like a, wow. And
I also want to say that, when this happens, you got to remember that they've never had an officer down or an officer killed in the line of duty until Jason Ellis. So you have to imagine that when you're on an outfit like this, you're thinking it's safe because you've never had in the line death in your department. So you have to understand the reality check that happened to every single officer on that beat, including this police chief, which probably hadn't seen anything like this.
I just remember lifting the tape. KSP and the sheriff were arriving at the time because it happened out in the sheriff's jurisdiction. So he responded, and I just remember lifting the tape and walking up and looking down at Jason, and thinking, what in the hell happened here? You know, didn't call off. Obviously, this tree didn't fall on him, but he was obviously shot and killed. And I just remember kneeling down, and his right knee was up. He was on his back, and I just remember putting my hand on his knee, and I had my moment, I guess, where I was confused, I was upset, I was hurt, I was mad. I just, cried a little bit, and I just remember, Jason, we'll figure this out. And I stood up, and I kind of told myself, okay, you got to be the chief. Cry later. And at that point, I just said, okay, guys, here's, I just started shooting directions, and of course, KSP was going to take it. The sheriff and I and KSP kind of grouped, and the sheriff said, I want KSP to take it. Absolutely. I knew they had better toys than both of our agencies combined. So, but that was that moment where, wow.
You remember such vivid details. I mean, is it just stuck there?
There were things that, there's an old saying in police work is I wish my heart could forget what my eyes have seen. And there's just some things throughout my, on 35 years that I was on it, there are some things that I could describe to a detail. Some things like you'd have to remind me, oh yeah, I did make that run. But there are certain things that, where were you when Kennedy was killed kind of things, and that's one of them that is etched in my head, and it's never going to leave, even if it's solved. It's,
And I remember when we talked, 5 years ago for the podcast, you called it your darkest day. Is it still your darkest day? Will it always be your darkest day?
I think so. And when I say that, meaning I've been in shootings. I've been in some horrible situations over the 3 decades I was in. And while, there's always that, I don't want to say PTSD, but close. This hurts worse than some of the things that I personally went through because, captain of the ship on my watch, and such a young officer, damn good officer, young officer, married, 2 little boys. It's just like, man, can it get any worse? And again, doing this as long as I have, or as long as I did, you learn to take your personal stuff and put it over on the shelf for a minute. You got things to deal with, and it'll always be in my mind.
And that is what we talk about on here when I talk to you about how I have to leave the emotions behind. You can't really, any good person that does this type of work has to learn to check their emotions at the door. When you get hyper emotional in covering cases, then you allow your emotions are not, they don't think of the law. They think of how it makes you feel. And there's a much bigger difference between the law and how it makes you feel. And you've got to be able to move your emotions aside so you can focus on the facts.
10 years with no named suspects, 10 years with no arrests, no answers. Did you ever imagine it would take 10 years?
I was thinking, again, the other day, again, we were at Police Week, as I mentioned, so, that's all we talk about for a week, sadly. That morning that once I finally got the okay from Amy and Jason's family, because obviously the media was calling, hey, what can you tell us? We're on the way. So we did a press conference. It's going to be a very, very emotional day. It was a very stressful day. I just remember when I was giving that press conference thinking, I don't have a suspect for you, but surely by the end of the day, and then the funeral rolled around and no name. And, kind of go back where you said, no, just stand there and give that press conference. In no way could I have imagined that 10 years we're going to still be talking about it. Not that we shouldn't, but we're talking about an unsolved murder, not just, hey, this officer was killed in the line of duty 10 years ago. We've got that extra appendage of still unsolved. And, the Jason's family and his boys need that closure. I think, they're owed that. Then the department. Our needs come second, obviously. But everybody needs closure in this. And, you know, again, it's like, man, I thought after 10 years, there's no way it would still be unsolved. And I know when I was getting ready to retire, or leading up to my retirement, I always said, I hope whenever I do retire that it's solved by the time I retire. Now I'm thinking, I'm retired. Now what do I do? I hope I live long enough to see it solved. I mean, you know, where do you go from here? So.
I just want to say you can see absolutely how painful this is for him. Susan says, you're in the right direction. Check the year before Ellis was hired. McCubbin was the chief and an officer. A sheriff was arrested while driving drugs through his jurisdiction. I did read some stuff. I did read some. Yes, it is. This is just sad. And guys, listen to this. I also found another unsolved crime in their community that they're not talking about. So we're going to be talking about that as well.
Why do you think this is such a challenging case to solve?
I don't know, and I'm, you know, I still talk with KSP occasionally. They don't tell me a lot. Don't want them.
Before we let him go, this is the stuff that you're going to need to pay attention to. This is where he's giving us some pretty interesting information about the Jason Ellis case. So pay close attention to what he's saying. We're going to probably rewind it back to here and do the last 4 minutes again so we can talk about it.
Them too, but I think everything is kind of in place. But it's perhaps it's like with the Crystal Rogers or the Tommy Ballard. They just need one more piece to, you know, the old I can only charge you with what I can prove, not what I think, and I just don't think that final piece is there yet. And you know, you'll remember in the beginning, I kind of was like, yeah, it had to be 2 or 3 people. You know, this was just 2. And then as time goes on, I'll be the first to say, maybe we were all wrong. Maybe it was just one person, one portion.
Think about that. One person. Could it be? And if so, who could it be?
Soul who snapped, a PTSD, you know, that snapped, and we'll never know if it was truly just that one person.
The FBI has insinuated that
Did you hear that? It's kind of like he almost knew who they had eyeballed for the Jason Ellis case. I'm going to back it up, and I want you to listen to what he says. Now, man, it may be just simply misspeaking. It may just simply be misspeaking. But he spoke about somebody that was mentally ill and had PTSD. And he says, we may never know if it was him or not. I just found it a little interesting. Now, it could be a misspeak. It does happen when you're giving live interviews. We all seen it. We know it happens. So we all have to take that into consideration.
It was just one person, one poor soul who snapped, a PTSD, you know, that snapped. And we'll never know if it was truly just that one person.
the FBI has insinuated that.
Know if it's just that one person. It seems almost that he has a direction, but it could just be my wishful thinking. It could be just my wishful thinking, and it could just be a misspeak or us taking his what he's saying out of context. That does happen.
They think, if they can find answers in Tommy's case, Crystal's case, or Jason's case, they can find answers in all of them. What do you think? Do you think that there's a connection here?
None that I see, but again, I'm on the outside. Now I'm really on the outside. But
isn't that interesting? I have been looking here for days for a connection. And even the police chief that was running this investigation is telling us that even up until the time of his retirement, there didn't appear to be any connection with the Ellis case and the Rogers case up to the time that he retired. So I just thought that was very interesting. I'm gonna rewind it back, and we're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna play the rest of it through. But I wanted you guys to hear that from the chief, because when we deal with a lot of these cases, it's all about getting attention to the cases, right? Getting the eyeballs to the cases, bringing in the audience, because you need the audience to advocate for the cases. Even like with Michael Thompson, what did I do with that live? I made it an opportunity to give you guys like 15 minutes of Layla Santinello and 5 minutes of Michael Thompson. I knew it was drugs, so I kept telling everybody and cautioning everybody in the chat, it's not what you think. It doesn't have to do with Layla. As we were going through the intro, I made sure everybody knew. However, it is to bring people in. That's one of the things that you need to do. You got to bring your audience in to look at the cases that you need. So I took that opportunity to really try to, hone in on Layla Santinello. That's my right. So let's just finish this out, and I'm going to back this up so you guys can hear it again for those that are just coming in here. He makes some very strong statements. And again, this is based on up to the time he was chief, and I thought it was very interesting.
Crystal's case or Jason's case, they can find answers in all of them. What do you think? Do you think that there's a connection here?
None that I see, but again, I'm on the outside. Now I'm really on the outside. But all the years I was there, we could never make a nexus of tying them all in. Again, doesn't mean tomorrow they're going to get a tip 10 years later, that aha moment. I don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I know.
Oh, and I wanted to say, I think I did misspeak. I said something. I just thought about that when he said something, and I can't remember what it was, but I think I did have a misspeak, but we'll go back to it in just a second.
When I was still in Bardstown,
No, I knew what it is, because I said he was running the investigation, and I forgot. The Jason Ellis was ran by Kentucky State Police, so that's what I said. He wasn't but as he knew it at the time, his retirement, that is his true statement. But he was not the lead or running the investigation at the time. So I want to make sure that's clarified.
The prosecutor's office looked at cases, looking for something common, a name that maybe kept appearing in some of Jason's arrests or cases, and nothing jumped out to the investigators or the prosecutor's office or anything. And again, you may recall a few years ago, the Netherland family kind of took to Facebook and were like, please stop. We don't know Crystal. We did not know the police officer. We did not, because you sometimes get that small town rumor stuff, and that every time you go forward, you get the old 2 steps back. And
so he's basically saying that even the Netherlands, and I have to agree, the Netherlands doesn't make sense. And we're going to go over just a few of the details. We're going to dive into the Netherlands a little more detail, but just a cursory review of the Netherlands case so we can kind of identify why it doesn't really fit with these. And again, Jason Ellis, I've been working literally for days, and I'm not lying when I say that. Literally for days. You guys know I've been beating the sand. I've been trying to find this connection between Jason Ellis and Crystal Rogers. The only thing that really at this moment, makes sense. I know I call Mafia Mom, and she does look like a Mafia Mom. She looks like a, mommy dearest. That's my opinion. It's my assessment, and it's what I believe. Something she's odd. Brooks, though, there's a lot of differences in these cases. For example, Jason Ellis was ambushed, and he was shot multiple times with a shotgun. That shotgun's never been recovered, not with the Houcks that we are aware of, not with the Lawsons that we are aware of. There is no connection with this particular gun that we can see. Now, there are rumors out there that Houck was involved. Some or all of the Houcks were involved in a possible organized crime. I believe there's some hint of organized crime there because of the finances. There's something that stinks to high heaven in the finances. I have to admit. What that means, I have no idea. But so we have shotgun. We don't know the cause of death with Crystal because she's never been found. Okay. And then we have the cause of death with Tommy Ballard, which was a gunshot wound. I don't know if they've ever talked about the caliber of gun that was used to execute Tommy Ballard. I've looked and I can't seem to find it because I wanted to see if it was a shotgun. Because if it was a shotgun that killed Tommy Ballard, then naturally I would probably say, I wonder if it's the shotgun that also killed, Ellis. The problem is I truly believe it was a rifle used for Tommy Ballard as opposed to a shotgun. So again, removing any links. So I want to step further. I'm searching, I'm searching as much crime in this area at this time as possible. I'm setting, time, search areas from 2010 to, after 2004, to 2014. I'm going back to 2009, 2008, bringing it forward. Can't find really anything in the Bardstown that's screaming, hey, we need to murder a cop. You go on the a little bit further, like obviously Louisville is a probably has a lot more crime in it. And so you're reading these articles, but they don't mean that they link back. It just means that this is stuff that's going on. So where's the link? I'm telling you, I'm looking outside of Nick Houck working with him. That's where the link ends. It begins and ends. That really is but we do know we have potentially two murderers walking the streets, and those are the Houcks, the Nick Houck and Brooks Houck. Brooks is in jail right now, charged with murder, and it appears that Nick might be on his way there being charged with Tommy Ballard's murder. We shall see. But the whole thing with Jason Ellis, and that's what I keep saying, is that they keep saying it's connected, but I don't see how it fits. I don't see how it fits. And so I've just been digging, and I just found this interview. And this interview, when I heard the chief say it, I started thinking, maybe this is why I'm hitting a brick wall. Maybe the reason why I'm hitting the brick wall is because they don't go together. Because in the grand scheme of things, getting back to me talking about how we want people in to look at the viewership and to see that, there's also a strategy that networks, as well as we do it here on social media. It's done in a lot of missing person cases and murder cases where they attach a name to another. So, for example, say Crystal Rogers' name is now a national name, national headlines. Them putting Jason Ellis with that name is now bringing viewership over to Jason Ellis to bring awareness to his story. Not necessarily for the click and the view, but to bring the audience, because you can't get help getting something out of your community if you're only advertising to the small area of your community. You need to find a way to grab other people's attention. So when Crystal Rogers, now remember, Jason Ellis was by himself until the Netherlands. There was clearly no indication that the Netherlands were connected with Ellis. So that at that time, 2014, nothing happened. The Netherlands case, we never heard about it. So obviously didn't get national attention. It wasn't until Crystal Rogers got killed in 2015. And then I think linkage, they started bringing this cop in. And I think that was smart to bring attention to Jason Ellis. But I'm not sure that it has anything to do with the Crystal Rogers case. It could. I mean, we are hearing it connected in all these publications. The law enforcement, for example, this most recent dig that they did 9 days ago, where they dug a huge crater in the ground behind a trailer park, or behind a trailer rather. I really think, and even then they were saying that it could be one of the 3 unsolved homicides, which I only thought there was only, 3 unsolved homicides. And then people are like, no, there's 5. And then they brought the Netherlands in. Well, I'm doing research, and it sounds like there's one from way, way, way back when that didn't get solved either. We're going to go through that. pretty interesting facts as well. So we went through the pill mill pipeline. We went through the bourbon heist. We went through other organized crime to try to find this connection. And so if the Houks did it, I, at this point, actually believe it's for a totally different purpose. I think that he was a rising star. This chief was going to be retiring. I think the person that was going to be taking the reins was going to be Jason Ellis. If this is connected with the Houks, this is a new theory I'm generating. I was on the organized crime. It didn't hold water for me in my research. Unless something changes or there's something clearer, it just is what it is. So we removed the love triangle thing because there's nothing in the Ellis's family that indicate that his wife or him have stepped out on each other. So there's the love triangle aspect for me was removed early on. And so the organized crime really had gripped me. It had to have been something with organized crime. This is the drug police, this Houck's brother worked with them. It seemed like it's an inside job, right? Because a lot of things were going on for Jason that night. He had a collar that he was trying to get into the jail. He wasn't in his own cruiser. He didn't have his canine dog. There was a lot of variables going on in Jason's life that night that were much different than any other normal day for him. So, he didn't even have a normal day. So this person was able to target him with all these unknown variables. So it almost it indicated that this is an inside job, that somebody's calling somebody, but it's possible that it was, multiple people, and it's possible that it's one. What if the one option that I didn't think it was, really didn't think it was, there's just nothing indicating, it's looking like it's the most probable at this moment. And that's jealousy and political reasons. For example, shortly after Jason Ellis was executed, Brooks Houck, which has absolutely no law enforcement experience, decided to put his bid in for none other than the sheriff. I thought that was odd all over the place when I saw that. I'm like, really? That was weird. And when I read Jason Ellis's, you had Nick that was in, which I call him the putz of the family, but Nick was in the sheriff's office. He obviously wasn't, he's not a go-getter like his mother and his brother. Let's face it. He's just not. He's to me, the putz of the family. And it was when I was preparing this background that I realized how truly special Jason Ellis was. Here's his background. I actually typed it up and wrote it down so I could refer to it, because I figured this is a fallen officer. He deserves some accolades for his service. And it says, Jason served on the Bardstown Police Department since 2006. Within 3 years, and it says within 3 years, he received the governor's award for impaired driving, but it really was a year later. If he started that department in 2006, it says in this came out directly out of the police museum. The police museum is where I copied this from. And it said within 3 years, he received the governor's award for impaired driving enforcement in 2007 and in 2008. But 2008 ended up being a very, very, very big year for Jason Ellis. Not only did he get that governor's award for the the impaired driving enforcement, he also became the officer of the year in 2008 and became the first canine officer unit. So all this was happening. He's hired in 2006. By 2008, he's on the governor's list. He's the police of the year, and now he's canine cop. Right now he's canine cop. So he was, and again, the history of him is not. It's historical, but it's not the good kind of historical. He was the first Bartsfield police officer to die in the line of duty. And to the best of my knowledge, thank God, no other police officer has been killed in the line of duty in Bardstown. And that's just from the best of my knowledge. Let's see what else we learned. Oh, let's just finish this this up real quick, and then we'll move on and get what your thoughts are on this.
So, again, the Netherland family has even said, we don't know any of these people. We're all sharing a tragedy. Very coincidental, yes, in the time frame, and but we don't know them. And I think once you would talk to Jason or Sherry Ballard and her family, they probably didn't know the Netherlands. Did they know Jason? Maybe, because he was, but there's just not that one thing yet that I don't think can put them all together.
You mentioned the aha moment. Do you think it's still possible after 10 years? There's still some stone left uncovered. There's still some piece of evidence that could make a break here.
In my heart, I want to believe that, yes, whether it's 10 years or another year or 5 more years, something will come up. I truly in my heart believe every stone has been uncovered, but what was uncovered has, is that put on hold until we can bring in that other piece? Because, KSP brought out every piece of equipment they had, crime scene stuff, and, so, and again, don't know what all they have, but to the level that this investigation went, I still in my heart believe that someday it's something's going to break. Something's going to break.
We hope so.
Like I said, I hope I'm around to see it. It's a horrible thing to think, but it's like, gosh, what, and again, that's selfish on my part. I want it for his boys, his family, Amy and them. They deserve it long before we do. I hope we're there to share with that. Put it that way.
So I just thought that was a very powerful interview. And then this one, I wanted to show you this one because this is the most recent dig site here. This right here is this mobile home. Let me see if I can mute this. This mobile home. See if it moves over, but I don't think it does. But that's where they dug, and they on the back side of this trailer, right? I don't know if you can see my cursor over there, right there. That's where they set up their heavy equipment and dug into the earth, and that's their most recent. Where is the? Give me just a second. I wanted to. That's Bardstown. That's that. I think it is this one. I think this one is. Let me see if this is it. Oh, it's heartbreaking. This is related to Jason Ellis. Now I don't want to play that. There's another one here, and it's about the Netherlands. And the Netherlands one is a little interesting because where is it? It is taking a look at the unsolved cases. It's got to be this one. There was one part in here. Hold on. There it is. Okay, this is the one I want you to hear. This is the part I want you to hear. This is specifically related to the Netherlands, and this is why I really don't think it's related. And again, it comes to motive and means. We have shotgun for Jason Ellis. We don't know how Crystal died. And then we have what I believe we're going to find out to be a rifle, some type of rifle that executed Tommy Ballard. This one, this is much, much different.
1 year later, another brutal murder. This time, a school teacher and her high school daughter. Kathy and Samantha Netherland were home April of 2014. Samantha had just picked out her prom dress.
That was clue one. Okay. So when I was going through this, let me put this up here. So you guys, because we're going to talk about this as we're going. Just to go, well, we'll go back to that in just a second. So Ballard, Lawson, Netherlands. Okay. Here's the Netherlands right here. They said there's nothing that's tying them together. was the body. It was 1982. That was the boyfriend. Okay, here's all the stuff. So for the Netherlands, one of the things that we're learning is that she bought this prom dress. She had just came back from from purchasing this prom dress. So it makes me wonder, did they run into somebody while they were purchasing this prom dress? That was one of the very, very first things that I question related to this segment here is that prom dress. That prom dress might be key because that is what she was doing literally the minute before, not the minute before, but shortly before they were assaulted and killed. So is that a clue? Is that prom dress a clue? Where did they get that prom dress? Who helped them purchase the prom dress? Was there somebody in that store with them? Those are all the questions. That to me seems key because it's in such close proximity to when they were hurt and killed.
When police say someone entered their home, tied them up, tortured them, and then left them for dead in the middle of a graphic crime scene.
That was it. Did you guys hear that? They were bound and they were tortured. Bound and tortured and left in a gruesome crime scene. So far, there hasn't really been a gruesome crime scene associated with any of the cases that we've dealt with. They've been very clean, very concise. Even Tommy Ballard, he was executed. So their case is wildly different than any of the other cases, in my opinion, because the way that they lost their life is inconsistent with any other deaths in this area. I think that's why this was targeted and why they say this. And I believe they even made the indication that it's personal. And I always thought, when I hear that personal element, I always think of a relationship either with a man or a woman, but some type of relationship, because this feels emotional and like anger. And I keep wondering what kind of torture, because I read this one article and it was enough to make you sick. And it was of another person that broke into somebody's home. It's not related, but I was looking at everything. I'm trying to see if there's any connections whatsoever. So I'm looking at all cases, all MOs that seem similar to theirs. And because to be honest with you, the bounding and the torturing, and of course the work that we do, I even looked into serial killers in the area at the time of their death. I mean, you just never know, So I'm literally looking at this at all angles, but this seems to be a little different. This whole case, the Netherlands.
I want to know why. Why would?
And and it comes back to the sister. Not that I don't victim shame, whatever, but we do bring up valid points. And my valid point would be, I don't know. I haven't looked into the sister. Did she live somewhere else? And if not, why wasn't she home at the time that this happened? Was she somewhere else? Was she at work? Naturally, I'm looking at I don't know what happened in this case. So, anybody could potentially be, nobody knows who harmed these people. So, and there's a surviving, and we know the probability of somebody that we know doing this. I don't think she did it. I just want to put that out there. It is just a talking point. So for the people that get offended very easily, when I say things like that, it's to discuss them, not to insult, not to victim shame, just to have a conversation, because you got to talk about this stuff.
Would somebody go and attack my sister? Why would somebody shoot my mother?
The next case came in 2015 when Crystal Rogers.
That's really it. And there's Tommy Ballard. You can see him right here. This story, it really does hurt me because you see the pain in his eyes.
Disappeared. And her father, Tommy Ballard, led the search efforts to find her.
I'm kind of facing reality. I don't want to believe it. I feel like she's not here.
He spent every minute.
Isn't that just heartbreaking? When father comes, like I'm getting goosebumps all through my body. When father comes to to the reality of knowing that his daughter's gone. It's just it does something to me. I got to be honest with you. It does something to me. So I'm just going to go over some notes here. And if I see something that I want to pull something up, I've got everything that I was reviewing in preparation of this live. But one thing that I got from the police chief was the confusion at the scene, especially with the branches and stuff. So I'm thinking these had to be pretty big branches. It was interesting. And this is for my supernatural people here. I thought it was interesting about the full moon. What many people don't realize is, there's always a lot of, I don't even know what it's called. Superstition, I guess, is basically what I should call it. Superstition about the full moon. Well, listen to this. This is what I learned. This is no joke. And I learned this many years ago, is during the full moon, do you know that psych wards and hospitals actually, I don't even know where the heck my phone is. I hear it, but I don't see it. The psych wards actually, staff have extra staff on full moon nights. There is something to that superstition. There's absolutely something to that superstition. So I just found it a little odd because if you recall, he did refer to somebody that may have been a mad person with PTSD. Does that hold water? Was the chief kind of filling us in a little bit? Is there something more there? I don't know. Maybe it was just a misspeak. Maybe he was just providing a what if, but I just thought it was a little bizarre what if you ask me. He called this event his darkest days. He seems like he has a lot of grief over the fact that he lost the only officer in Bardstown on his watch. Even when he did the press conference, he was reeling with grief. He didn't even have anybody. He didn't even know what to really say. He was just trying to say something. This was so big. Shay had asked, why is this so challenging? And he says, everything, he believes that that everything is pretty much in place. They're just waiting for that link, that nugget, that small little nugget to break the case wide open. He also indicated that it may be one person or multiple people. We were told that it was multiple people for so long that we kind of, just believed it. But what if it wasn't? What if it had nothing to do? What if it was just one person? Nobody believes that the Netherlands have any ties to this case. He actually went as far as to say that Jason Ellis, in all fairness, has no ties to the case that he can see. And when I heard him say that, then I remember, Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner. One of the things that we did to bring attention, it was something that Jason Jensen really pushed for, was attaching them to the Gabby Petito story so they would get more attention. More attention means more leads bring higher probability of solving the case. It's just the law of large numbers, in all fairness. That's really what it is. You're increasing the probability of getting a legit lead by the more people that see it and know that it's going on. So I'm starting to feel, now that I heard this chief's interview, I'm kind of really feeling like maybe Jason Ellis doesn't have anything to do with it. Maybe that's why I'm hitting my head against a hard surface trying to make a link. Because I even told my mom when I was on the phone with her researching this case, my mom, she'll be calling in here when I turn the phones on, because that's who she was dinging me, letting me know she's got something to say. We love Mama Bullhorn. Come on. We love Mama Bullhorn. Always keeping Bullhorn Betty in check, right? Always keeping Bullhorn Betty in check. And when she's not here, believe me, I got 15 other mommies in here. So they're called my mods. And they crack the whip. So I think that might really explain why we're having such a hard time trying to find the link. Maybe there just really isn't a link. Maybe this was just a strategy to get more attention to the Jason Ellis's case. And it's a smart strategy. I'm not dogging the strategy whatsoever. I think whoever started, if you have a case and there's a case that is performing much higher, much better, if there's a way to link or attach, I recommend it. Right? Because these cases aren't getting solved by being a secret, right? So if that's the case, I'm glad that they do it to bring attention to Jason. Think about it. We wouldn't be talking about Jason Ellis right now if it wasn't linked to the Crystal Rogers case. But because they linked it so cleverly, that I think is the connection. I think the connection is the promotion, potentially. But if there's not, and it really is the hoax or has something to do with it, I have a funny feeling it could very well be that pill mill that was getting indicted right in and around the time that all this stuff was happening. But I still can't even find one person that was arrested in that whole entire drug ring linked back to any of the house or any of the associates of the house that we're aware of. So it's kind of hard to make that leap when you can't even find the association. If somebody is better at this than me and you find the association, please send it to me. I'm looking for it. I can't find it. I need your help because I'm starting to think that this is either some political jealousy, petty crap, or the house aren't involved in the Ellis's and the Ellis death. You can't have it both ways. They're either in it or out of it. But I'm starting to feel like there's no connection here. Look into Kara Rigdon from Marion County, Kentucky. Went missing in 2010. Her car was found abandoned on Bluegrass Parkway, not far from the other crime scenes. Thank you. Let's take a look. Kara. Okay, I'm gonna have to probably put, and that is from Marion County, Kentucky. Am I spelling it wrong? Oh, I am spelling it wrong. Might help if I put an I instead of an O. Here we go. Family pleas for answers in disappearance. Interesting. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we got a family pleas. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, she's got beautiful kids. Oh, look at that guy with the freaking neck tattoo. Jesus. Excuse my language. Sorry. I had a friend, he was a troublemaker when he was a troubled child, and he redeemed himself and turned himself over to God. And every time it was just crazy because you have this man that's completely tatted up, literally tatted up from the feet up. And he had these huge flames that went up his neck, and he had this like really long neck too. And he was like a really buff guy. And it's so funny because you see this big guy, this muscle tattooed biker guy. And, when we sit down and eat dinner, he's got his 2 children there, his significant other. They weren't married, but they had been married or been together for like 60. They might as well have been married. And you do not touch. I'm telling you, he will slap the fork right out of your hand. You do not touch, and he'll do it to me too. You do not touch your food without saying grace. You do not touch your food without saying grace. So this is, now if I got the right one, it looks like I got the right one here. Let me just put this up on the screen so everybody can see what I'm talking about here. There we go. That's what I was talking about, that neck tattoo. So it says it's been more than 2 years since mother of 2 vanished from her Marion home and never seen or heard from again. The reward fund for information about Kara Rigdon disappearance is set to expire December 1st at 12 a.m. That has already long since gone, guys. I just want to let you know that. That's why her mother is speaking out and hoping someone will come forward to bring their family some peace. There is not a day that there's not a day that don't go by that you don't think today is the day that I'm going to get the answer, get the news, said Sheila Tingle, and that's Kara's mother. It is a constant waiting game that became everyday life for Tingle, who since last saw her 26-year-old daughter on September 17, 2010. Kara was in the process of getting a divorce from her husband, William Rigdon, at the time she disappeared. Her car was later found abandoned along Bluegrass Parkway. It seems that, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's the culture in Kentucky. Whenever you don't like your girlfriend or like your significant other, you just kind of get rid of them and throw them out on the Bluegrass Parkway. It's funny, but it's not funny. I mean, it just seems like this is a culture out there. This is just, I don't get it. How yeah. So she was in the process of divorcing her husband, and her car was later found on the Bluegrass Parkway. It says, Tingle says at the time she believes her daughter was still alive. You have moments that you say yes, and you have moments that you think no. She's with God, said Tingle. I mean, a mother's love will never die, and you will never entirely give up hope. She knows she must remain strong for Kara's children, 10-year-old Austin and 3-year-old Nora. Kara loved her children, and she would never have ever abandoned her children. She says Austin just can't understand why. There's not a day that doesn't go by that he doesn't say, I want my mama to come home. When is she coming home? Oh my gosh, that's got to break. Oh gosh, that's got to be so hard. While there's never been any named suspect in Kara's disappearance, I'll name a suspect. I'm not shy here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I have a funny feeling it's William. Do I have anything leading me to that? I got my gut instinct and statistics on my side in a situation like this. This is classic domestic violence here. This is classic. This is the same story over and over again that we read, and all we do is change out names. It's getting to be a problem. It's sick. While there's never been a named suspect, Kara's disappearance, just last month, her estranged husband, William Rigdon, was arrested for murder. This charge comes after Casey County man was found shot to death at work. So he obviously doesn't have a problem killing people. As for Tingle, for all the haters back there, yes, I can make observations and say something. And then in the next line, find out, guess what? We're spot on the money. As for Tingle, while the days keep adding up and her questions remain the same, she doesn't trust one day she will find her baby girl. She does trust one day she'll find her baby girl. God will give me closure one day in his time. He will give me the closure that I need. So Rigdon at this time remains in the county jail. But see, even this one, we're reading this and it's on the same stretch of roads, but this is the manner and the details behind it. There's no way it can be connected because he's yeah. I don't think that looks like the wholesome man. He looks like he should be in jail. You know, obviously the one that he is in jail for right now is a guy he murdered. And see, this guy, he's a good looking guy. Cut the hair. He's a good looking guy. He could have done so much with his life. So much with his life. Been a banker, been a doctor, been a lawyer, and he chooses to murder. People just waste their freaking lives. Hey, you know what? I got no room to talk, right? I was on that path myself. But what a sad story that is. Let's see what else I got pulled up here. There was some other stuff that I pulled up here. Okay, here's this is the original post. This is from February 3rd of this year. Kara Denora Rigdon, 38, was last seen Saturday, July 17th, 2010 in Gravel Switch community of Marion County. She was 5'4" and 145 pounds with brown hair and green eyes. She has a scar on her nose and a tattoo on her right side of her neck. If you have any information, please reach out to Kansas City State Police, Post 15 in Columbia. For those that are hearing impaired, or visually impaired rather, 270-384-47 296. Let's see. Sometimes I find some extra information on these reports down at the bottom if they've filled out well. Scar on forehead. She's got on the right of the neck, stars and moon. On her left finger, a Harley Davidson symbol. On her right ankles, West Coast Chopper, My Kind of Girl. Clothing that she was wearing, according to this, was a white spaghetti strap shirt with black dots. Blue jeans, black heeled sandals, wearing a silver cross necklace with 2 gold baby rings on the necklace. The sandals were black with a heel. The jewelry was a silver cross necklace and 2 gold baby rings. It appears that a car was recovered on the Bluegrass Parkway. Windows were down. It had 3/4 of a tank of gas in it, so it doesn't seem like it should have been abandoned. It seemed like it was in good working order. The Kentucky State Police are involved in this, and that's about it. See if I got anything else on her. I'm just trying to read some notes here. Sorry, guys. This is kind of impromptu because I wasn't expecting to pull this up, so I didn't really have it. But I do appreciate Jesse James for you bringing it up, so we can at least look into it. Let me see if there's anybody else. Betty, look up Daniel Cahoon from Bardstown, shot at the Nelson-Spencer County line and is still unsolved. I found another one that's unsolved too, one that dates back a little further. And where is it? It was one of the first ones that I was watching. Let me just look in here. It's got to be here. Yeah, I think it was this one. No, that's crimes. Hold on. I think it might have been on the unsolved. I've got to go back and review it, but there is another person that was out there. I watched it today. I watched something. I gotta find it. If I can find which one it was, I will play it for you. But a man has been waiting 30 years. 30 years. Oh, then maybe that's my 30 years. Bardstown. Oh, here. Here it is. This is it. I found it. This is so sad. This is tear jerking. But this one is another one that hasn't been solved.
Don't get left out in the cold. Fall into a great deal at John Jones Auto Group. With the largest inventory in Southern Indiana, we've got what you're looking for. You see so many because they paid so little.
30 years after a Bardstown mother was murdered, her husband is talking about her violent death.
WDRB's Joel Skipper tonight tells us about the prayers he hopes are answered.
You have to go on with your life, so it comes with you. You stay there, it stays with you all the time.
Jerome Strange wipes away tears as he remembers his wife, Lucinda, who was found murdered nearly 30 years ago in front of their Bardstown home in March of 1990.
She said, "I'm going walking now." And then about an hour later, somebody come knocking on the door and said, "There's somebody on the side of the road down here."
A metal cross marks the spot where Lucinda Strange's body was found here along Clarktown Road. She had been hit in the head and stabbed more than 40 times.
I never thought about somebody killing her. I just thought she got hit by a car.
The mother of two worked at a nearby hotel with her daughter and loved spending time with her children.
That was the Christmas before she was killed. It was Christmas of 1989.
Since the killing, no arrests have been made, and it's now a cold case. Kentucky State Police say it's been years since any leads or tips have come in. Even nearly 3 decades later, Strange hopes the next call he receives will be the one he's been waiting for, but knows the reality of that happening fades each day.
I go pick the phone up and call, and they say, we're going to make an arrest today. But that never happened, you know.
For him, there is no anger over her death because it's so overshadowed by too much unknown.
Right now, there's nobody to vent that anger towards, you know.
Strange believes no matter what happens with the case, he will never have closure. A loved one taken too soon in such a brutal and violent way.
You want them locked up, but it's not a revenge factor. It's just so they can't do it to another family. Have them give up all hope. It's just pretty low right now, you know.
In Bardstown, Joel Skipper, WDRB News.
So I came across that in my, pursuit for trying to find out what's going on in this community and, what is really transpiring, what's linked together, what's not linked together. Obviously this doesn't look linked together at all. And this was in a very desolate area as well. So I just started a few things I wanted to go over. Again, Jen, thank you so much. The crypt jar. Look up Daniel Cody. Bardstown, and it's being okay. So let's see in this one. Let's see what the details are on this one. And this is 8 years later. Bardstown's father still begging for answers in son's execution-style murder. This is interesting. It's already got the right type of title. It's been nearly 8 years. Let's just watch the video.
Don't get left out in the cold. Fall into a great deal at John Jones Auto Group. With the largest inventory in Southern Indiana, we've got what you're looking for. You see so many because they paid so little.
It has been nearly 8 years since a Bardstown man was found shot to death in a barn in rural Spencer County. WDRB's Joel Skipper spoke with that man's father, who believes an arrest will be made.
The pain Roger Cahoe feels this time of year is one of a father who lost his son to homicide.
8 years ago, around Christmas time, we were supposed to meet. And somehow that meet never did happen.
January 2nd, 2012, the body of his 34-year-old son, Daniel, was found in this barn off Bowman Lane in rural Spencer County.
Knocked on that door right there. I was sitting in this same place. State trooper. Come in and he told me what happened.
Cahoe said it was something he could never prepare for, hearing his son had been killed.
Somebody shot him inside the head. Execution style.
Since then, Cahoe has been working tirelessly to bring his son's killer to justice. Just 3 days earlier, Cahoe's other son was shot, but survived. Kentucky State Police have hired a special investigator who will work on Cahoe.
That's a little odd. I wonder what's causing all this attention to the boys, that one of them was shot dead and the other one is, had an attempt on his life and survived. That seems a little odd. Seems drug related for some reason. I'm getting a drug hint.
Cahoe's case, as well as several others that remain unsolved, including those in Bardstown.
I feel for all the other people here that's had these cases that just limbo. It's nothing. I mean, we all need to think about, it could be your child.
He's offering a $5,000 reward and hopes it will encourage someone to come forward with any information. As the reward increases, so does his frustration.
The people who was with him, I'm not after those people. I'm after the guy who pulled that trigger.
Another year, yet as many answers as the last. But Cahoe is confident in arrest.
It seems like they have an idea who did this crime because they know it was multiple people.
Will be made.
In fact, I know it's going to happen. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but I really think it will happen. That's what I pray for anyway.
In Bardstown, Kentucky, Joel Skipper, WDRB News.
This is a small community like this. Every time I run another story from this small community, it gives me heartburn. How can they have this lawlessness going on in their community like this? I don't know. True, it's a culture of how they was raised. They believe that marriage is forever, no matter what. Yeah, well, I can definitely tell there's something, because it's a small community, and it seems a little odd that this is the mode for multiple men to dispose of hide the bodies and drop the cars off on the Bluegrass Parkway, highway, or whatever it's called. Makes me paranoid of my patio. I'll keep looking out. The whole world is going mad. I know. It feels like it. This place is crazy anymore. People have just hit their coconut or something. I don't know. I live in a small area in Kentucky, not far from the madness. Bunch of backwoods people with crazy eyes. You know what? It does happen, because I think what it is that they're becoming more civilized, areas, but there's a lot of areas across this country, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, and why there'll never be a total, ban of any kind of weapons, period, because there are just people, even still, we have the comforts of internet and lights and stuff like that. There are still some people out there that are living off the land. There's people that live out in desolate areas. Look at Dylan Rounds, for example. He lived in the middle of freaking nowhere. There's nobody coming out there for 45 minutes. If you have an emergency, you got to handle it yourself. You handle your problems yourself. You handle your disputes yourself. It truly is kind of like the wild, wild west, so to speak, because there's no law enforcement. You police yourself. I thought I'd pull this one up. I'm putting Sweet Misery to sleep. And it's to remind all the people that are going to be watching this video, as well as the people that are in here right now. I'm going to be in Sweet Misery, and can Ahmad throw Sweet Misery's channel up? I'm going to be in Sweet Misery's channel tomorrow. I'm going to be covering a case with her, and we're going to be covering the Kaler case. And I've got, the name is Major John Kaler. This is a very interesting case that it's sad, and it's still senseless. And you kind of understand where Major John's kind of coming from, but you don't. It was so, I don't want to go into it just yet, but we're going to take a deep dive into the Major John Kaler case. This is the other quadruple homicide that happened in Idaho. This happened, what was it? When did this indictment came down? I know it was was it last year or was it this year? I think it was this year. This 2023. Yeah, it was this last year. I remember it because we covered it briefly on our channel, but Brian Koberger was hitting. I couldn't spend too much time on Major John Kaler's case, but now we're going to divulge some time, or provide some time to that. So 8:00 tomorrow night, on Saturday, on Sweet Misery's channel. We got it. We got the stuff. And I think that's about it. Let me go back over to the other side and make sure I didn't miss anything. There's Sweet Misery right there for all the people that are in the chat. Go there right now and go ahead and get notified so you don't miss it. Again, it's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on Sweet Misery's channel. We're going to collab on a case, Major John Kaler. It's a very interesting case, and I think you'll get a lot of good and great information out of it, and just some perspective, if nothing more. So, Crotch Watch. Yeah, we were on Crotch Watch. So this is just a big shout out. We're at about an hour and a half right now, and I'm going to go ahead and sign. Oh, I got to open the phone lines. I forgot. We don't need Mama Bullhorn beating Betty's ass. So let me get this. I need to watch my language. And just for those that are, like me, under surveillance and whatnot, I will be dropping the gifts off, in the next few days. So I will make sure I videotape it. No need to follow me, okay? Just no need to follow me around town to find out what I'm doing. I promise you I will make sure I videotape the gifts. Doesn't mean I'm going to post it, but I'll videotape it. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, Google Voice. Give me a minute, Mama. I gotta get all this stuff turned on. Okay, that is on. Make sure my earpieces are all on. Okay, those are all on. Now I gotta take this down and make this number 1. All right, Mama Bullhorn, if you are still in the chat, please give your daughter a ring-a-ding-ding. A ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. For those that would like to call in, give Mama Bullhorn an opportunity to call in. She was wanting to say something, and she's been following this case as well pretty closely. For everybody else, 724-249-6140, or 724-249-6140. And if Mama Bullhorn does not call, we'll call her. Actually, it'd probably be easier just for me to call her. Let's see if she picks up. Why is it not ringing? Oh, there it goes. I guess Mama Bullhorn's not next to her phone. I don't even know where my phone is.
Hey, this is Sadie from the Old Settle Ranch. If you reach...
Ma, you got to take your voicemail off. Thank goodness you didn't have your phone number on there. Doxing my old ma. Okay, guys. So I guess Mama Bullhorn is not answering, and she's not calling in. So the phone lines are open. If anybody has any questions, has any information to help provide, if you have a link, an actual corroborate, I don't even want it. I don't even have to have it corroborated. I just need a link, something, a trail to go down. Right now, my crumbs are gone. They dried up. We've got nothing here linking them to the house that I can find. And I'm being as honest as I can possibly be to you. I cannot find it. If there's a link, I can't see it. I can't find it. I can't see it. Uh-oh, Mama Bullhorn in trouble for not answering. I know. Let me call her on this phone. See if she answers. Somebody's calling. I guess I'm going to have to. This is Betty.
This is Sweet Misery.
Well, hello, my love. How are you?
I'm tired. Y'all got me up at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning.
Think how I feel. I was up at like 3.
I want to know why all the good trials are held on the East Coast, like in Florida. Because it's hard for me to stream a trial that's on the East Coast because of time difference. So I got to try to get used to that because I'm going to do Courtney this month.
Yes. Well, if you need somebody out there, let me know. I'll be happy to go out there and get you some content. So.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. You know what I really need you to do? I am so dead serious, Andrea. You need to come with me to Lori's trial. It's 2 hours for me.
Oh, Lori Vallow? No, Lori Vallow's done. She is going back to try it? She's going back to...
She's in Arizona right now.
Oh, wow. What is she going back to court for?
For conspiracy of Charles's death.
Oh, okay.
And she's...
because did they only do one of her children? They only did... Because the other child was the other, because I forget, I haven't been watching Lori Vallow's case because they turned the cameras off. So after they went to trial, I really didn't follow it after that, to be honest with you.
Yes, Chad's trying to get the death penalty off the table because it's not fair. She got it off and he didn't. So that's what his next.
Oh, you're
issue
talking about
is.
Lori's
No, I'm
husband.
talking about both of them. No, I'm talking about
Oh.
Lori Vallow. She was extradited from Idaho to Maricopa County here.
That's
and,
right, because
it's
some
right
of the
outside of
crimes
Phoenix.
happen there. Some of the crimes happen
Yeah,
there.
it's for Charles's death. They're not going after Melanie for the could have been attempted murder of Brandon. You know, with her being there too. But yeah, they're just going, and it's Chad. It's not Chad they're charging with it. It's only Lori, and she's not getting the death penalty here because our good old governor stopped the death penalty because it's inhumane, and as long as she, you know, if she finds a humane way to kill someone who kills a lot of people, then, you know, I'm sorry, but that's just my stance on that. But yeah, I know a lot of people were wondering, but yeah, she cut off all death penalty
Well, you know
cases,
what
so
really
she's gonna get
frustrates me
life.
about that, about this humanity argument. You know, most of these people that are murdered, where was the humanity in their killing? Where was the humanity when they were arred and brutalized and tortured?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, why do they have to go in a humane way? You know, they didn't let their
I'm an eye for an eye,
victims
tooth for a
go
tooth.
out
I guarantee you have somebody. And back in the day, you didn't have this kind of stuff because they had court in the public square. Like the public square literally was a square for the public. You know, we call it the public square now. It's changed its meaning, but back in the day, there really was a public square that everybody had to come to, and they had public hangings. Like you know, they had a lot of stuff. Now, granted, I don't agree with the whole hanging stuff, but the bottom line is when you did it in the public, it was definitely a preventative measure. People did not want to be that person.
Well, I guess not. Oh no, I think if I went that way, I would want to go the guillotine kind of way. What about you?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to go anyway. I'd rather not kill anybody and live my life. I don't know.
Well, I'm definitely not killing anybody, but yeah, no. With my mental health illness and everything else, I'm going to stay in true crime and watch and talk about everybody else's dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank God. And you know what? And just like with like Morbid, you know, that's another thing you should be, because that's some things that I think would help a lot of people like on YouTube and stuff is maybe, I wish there would be some people that opened up about their mental illness and stuff like that for people like me that, you know, I've had seasonal depression, and I've had situations like where my ex-boyfriend had lesions on his brain and I was just losing my stuff. And so I've had temporary things that have gone on that needed to be fixed at that moment. But other than that, you know, long progressive type stuff, I don't think people really understand it.
They don't. And now that you're saying that, after your show with Morbid, I emailed him. I have severe anxiety, bad anxiety, and I just want to talk to him to see if there's natural things he does, or it just takes, you know what I mean? Like, what does he do to cope with it and stuff? So I did like that. I am borderline personality disorder, bipolar, severe depression. Well, the mood swings is part of the BPD. Like everything. And you don't see me trying to go out and hurt somebody. You see me sitting here trying to help somebody.
Yeah.
With all the crap I got, you know?
I hear that. And I say that all the time. Like I didn't, you know, we have, and even like psychopaths. Like I think we overuse that word because we think of a psychopath as somebody that goes in and is a homicidal maniac. I didn't realize this until I was looking into it. We have a lot of psychopaths that are normal, productive members of society. I was like, you know, because you're it's stereotyping.
Well, Betty, let me tell you this real quick, and then I'll hang up with you because I know you're busy. I have been watching some body cam footage and interrogations because that's what some of my people like to watch. Well, today I was watching one, and it was corrupt cops realizing they were caught. And y'all, this woman left Walmart, and she was walking down the road, and the cop stopped her because she was trying to steal $14 worth of food. The minute I heard
Was
that
she
woman
wearing
talk
pants?
and the way
The
she
question
acted-
is, was she wearing
Yes.
pants? Oh, she was wearing pants. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I hear it might be Bullhorn Betty on the loose. Bullhorn Betty might be
Oh,
on
Lord.
the loose. All right.
Anyway, you could tell right away this woman has dementia. This woman's scared. She's clueless. She don't know what she's doing. They're hand mantling her really bad. They just like they were throwing her hand cut through in the car, everything, and knowing this woman has to. It just blew my mind. I was just like, how many people do they do that? Do you know the people with dementia? They don't know what's going on half the time. The only thing she kept saying was, I want to go home. Who says that? Somebody with dementia, they want to go to their safe space.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they can't.
yeah,
and
they got
I've
in
heard.
trouble this
We've
time.
had people like even in this town that have, they have dementia and they go back to a home that they haven't owned for 20 years. Walk right in.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Yeah.
I thought about that. But anyway, I just wanted to make my
I'm
presence
excited
known.
about tomorrow night. So I've been doing homework.
Good. It's about time you do some homework, Betty.
I know, right? Like I don't have enough. No, I'm just joking. Actually, this is a case that's interesting because I did cover it very briefly. So this gives me an opportunity to kind of, really get a good handle on it. So I think it's great. I think it's great. I mean, obviously not the details, but I think it'll be fun for us collaborating on this this case. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. I think it's fun too, and I really appreciate you accepting my offer.
Yay! Yes, I love it. I love it. So we'll see you tomorrow at 8. Be there or be square.
Yep. That's right. All right, you guys. I will see you later.
All right,
Have
honey.
a good day.
You too.
A good night.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
good night. You need to go get some sleep.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. So Mama Bullhorn has ghosted her daughter. So when Mama Bullhorn comes into the chat tomorrow morning, we're going to ghost her. Okay? No, we can't ghost Mama Bullhorn. We can't do that. What am I doing? Gotta watch out for the cow whip. She'll get it. Woo! Where's that? All right, guys. Well, listen, my throat's not cooperating. I need to get some rest. Tomorrow's coming very early, and we've got a lot to go over. And I want you guys to think about some of the stuff with this Jason Ellis case. If you guys find something that, excuse me, if you guys find something that links, please send it to me. I'm really trying to find it. Like I'm like on the fence. Like this stuff is making me. I was on the fence with Jason Ellis. To begin with, at the very beginning, I didn't really know about him. I only knew about Brooks and Crystal, and then Tommy and even Tommy, I was like, is this a blown out, just an accident at the thing until I looked into it. I'm like, no, he was shot and killed. And of course, whenever we had the, that one hearing and the prosecutor standing up saying that they're pointing the finger at Nick, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, this is starting to heat up a little bit. But nothing happened. And so the case kind of still, just kind of went under the radar for me because I had other things I was looking into. And then Steve Lawson got arrested. And so we started coming here and people were like starting to talk about Jason Ellis again. And then the Netherlands. And then, and then I'm reading all this stuff and everybody's saying, all these articles are putting Jason Ellis and Crystal Rogers together and all this other stuff. And I'm just trying to find this link that there's this infamous link here, and I just can't find it. I'm starting to feel like if the Houks did it, it was for political purposes, and if they didn't, it's somebody completely different that we're not even looking at. I really do, because I'm telling you, I can't find. I've been sitting here for usually after a few hours, I'll find something. I'll find something that leads somewhere, whether it's a leap or not, I can find something. I'm not finding jack shit, to be honest with you. I'm not finding anything linking to associates, to associates of associates, to associates of associates of associates. I'm not finding it. I've been literally, I don't even want to know how many hours I've been looking. But I'm telling you, I've got a half a freaking notebook filled with notes, and I don't take notes. You guys know me. I don't take notes. I took notes. This is how serious this case is. Okay, this is how serious it's gotten. My ears. Hopefully it's not that loud in yours. Ow! All right, guys, I am done. I'm over. That was really my spiel. I just wanted to come here. I wanted to make sure you guys had all the information because we've been talking about this case. We don't know which way's up, which way's right, left. You know, we don't know our elbow from our, you know what. So I thought when I got across that that captain. Now, I have to think he has more insight than the regular public, than the media. You know, he has something. And I don't know if he would have made those statements if he really thought they were connected to one another. He basically said he's never seen it. He doesn't know about it. He hasn't seen it. And he's talking about somebody, a single person potentially with PTSD, which I find, you know, interesting of all things to bring up. So what do you think? Don't put your comments in here. Don't put your comments in here. Go out there to the comment box. Put your comments in there. What do you think happened? Do you think Jason Ellis, because I'm about to shut out the poll. Do you believe Jason Ellis is associated with the Crystal Roger case? I'm closing it out right now. I'm closing it out literally right now, and you guys are about to get a commercial. Got to keep the lights on. All right, here is the results of the poll. And the question is, do you think just Jason Ellis and Crystal Rogers cases are connected? The answers I gave was yes, no, and unsure. So we have unsure at 45%, and this is based off 79 votes. So not really a whole lot of high, you know, but based upon our audience, right? So out of our audience, 45% of you guys are unsure if it even connects. 39% of you are sure, absolutely sure. Yes, they connect. And 15% says absolutely not. So we are ourselves as a group, as a community, as a family, we are divided here. You know, we are very divided on this front. I could personally tell you my feelings match that poll. Because I am totally, like, I don't know. It could really go both ways. But I can't find anything linking it. And we've been here before where just because we don't find it doesn't mean that it's not linked somehow. You know, we don't have the information. We haven't been working the case for the last decade. You know, law enforcement has. But that's the information I have. And I'm just as confused now at the end of this show as I was when I started this show. I still don't know. All I can tell you is that the chief of police, the prior chief of Bardstown Police, is saying he does not believe they're connected. And that may be the reason why we're having such a hard time figuring out the connection. Might be just that simple. Might just be that simple. All right, guys. Well, I just want to tell you, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for spending some time with me this evening, this Friday evening. It's 8 o'clock. You guys even have time to have your what do they call it? I don't know. I'm out of the thing. Nightcap. It's early enough to have a nightcap. Maybe too early. And you're not Bullhorn Betty. You guys don't go to bed at the crack of dusk. I go to bed at the crack of dusk. Get up at night. But you guys have a wonderful night. Please don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, folks, please be kind to one another. Be safe this holiday season. Don't run over grandma with the reindeers, okay? I know it's an easy thing to do. The in-laws are coming, and you guys got that jingle in your head. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer, right? And that in-law, she doesn't like you. But just remember, it's the holidays. Be nice to grandma, okay? Santa knows who's naughty and who's nice. Don't forget that. And Bullhorn Betty is checking Santa Claus list twice. Okay, I'm making sure there is nobody that can check these things out better than me. I've had every single county book and have found silos that we didn't even know we had. All right, guys, go make it a great night. Enjoy your evening. I love you guys. God bless each and every one of you. We will be back here at 6:30. And I know we got away from the 6:30 evening shows. We're trying to make sure that we incorporate that back in. Again, the channel's kind of weird right now because we're not on our main channel. We're on this backup channel. We're building this backup channel. We just officially got this backup channel monetized. And we're going to have 2 totally monetized accounts. So you know what? If nothing more, just dumb luck got us at least one goal on our goal list accomplished. It took animals and hyenas and jellyfish doing it. But you know what? Sometimes the silver lining, God just has to kick you in the rump and say, you said you were going to monetize this channel. And you still haven't monetized it after a year. So here's what I'm going to do for you. And then in addition to that, you know what else I'm going to do for you, Betty? Because I love you so much, because I'm God. I'm going to get your calendar all screwed up so you forget to turn your gives in. Guess where I'm going to be Sunday? I'm going to be at church. You guys are going to be chatting, and I'm going to check to see who's in church Sunday. I'm coming back. And I've got a list of our attendees. Okay. And we are starting much earlier in the morning than we were before. What is it? 9:05? You guys got to be at church. 9:05. I'm going to be in the audience at church on Sunday. Because you know what? As God would have it, apparently he wants me to sit in the audience. I don't know why, but he made sure I missed the last day for me to turn my darn presents in. And so now the presents have to be turned in on Sunday because that's the last day that they're open for the week. So I said, as luck would have it, and I was laughing at it, and I said, well, God must really want me. Shh. Geez, guys, you guys are such tattletales. You know, you're such don't you guys realize I'm making sure the audience is there early? Tell them 10:15. They'll be walking in at 10 or 9:15. They'll be walking in at 9:45. Shh. I had a bunch of tattletales in my chat. Bunch of tattletales. No, I'm just joking. Okay, 9:15. I couldn't remember. I kept thinking it was 9:15, and I remember we were going down, but I guess it was 9:30 before, and they carved 15 minutes off. But I'm gonna be in the audience. If Lori Lowe, if you're watching this, I know I've been telling you for days I'm gonna reach out to you. Sometimes you just got to be like everybody else. If you need to get a hold of me, you got to call me, babe. I'm sorry. I try my best, but literally my phone rings off the hook all day long. And even when I have best made plans to get a hold of you, my best made plans end up being alive at 8:30 at night and ready to go to bed. And I forgot to call you again. That's how my days go. Sunday, I'm going to church. I know you've been wanting to go. I'm still going to go for the Christmas Eve spectacular, whatever they're doing, whatever event they're doing there for Christmas Eve. I'm going to go to that in person. But this Sunday, I'm going in person. Just didn't know if you wanted to go. If you want to come with me, if you want to drive yourself. But I'll be there in person. So just let me know how you'd like to do it, and we can go. I will be there. So guys, remember, I'm going to be in the audience. But I promise you my phone will be silent, and I will most likely be checking to make sure I'm cracking that whip on you. I'm just joking. You know what? Everybody should come. Everybody should come if they'd like to come. It's obviously open. I know I joke around about it, but it's obviously open to anybody. For people that have never been to church before, it might be a great opportunity just to see what it's about. If you have been to church and you haven't been in a while, or maybe some things in your life pushed you away from God for whatever the reasons are. Maybe you're finding that you're wanting to recommit. Maybe just check it out. Maybe just come and hang out and, get some, hang out with some friends and get a good word in, right? And an uplifting word. if something like that's right up your alley, maybe you should just come and hang out with us. So anyways, Sunday, I will not be in chat. I might be in chat. I won't be in chat. I'll be there in person. I wouldn't want to be rude to the people. So I won't be in chat at all. On Sunday, but I will be there. You guys can look for me. I'll try to be in the crowd somewhere so you guys can see me. So you know that you see the blonde hair. Well, actually, it's not even blonde. My roots are so big. So I had such bad roots right now. The blonde's almost gone. It's like washed out of my hair. For the guys, blonde doesn't wash out. It's probably the only color that doesn't wash out. All right, guys, I'm out. You guys have a great night. I love you. God bless. Take care.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.